You want to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000. But the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I got to have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is Wednesday. I'll be getting my days mixed up out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Wednesday, September 14th. It's already the middle of September. We about to be in the fourth quarter, y'all. It's the third quarter. It's September, y'all. October marks the first of the last 3 months of the year, which puts us in Q4. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, family? How y'all feel today? I went ahead and got my microphone because, you know, we making transitions and we moving stuff down to the creative space, and we getting painters and creative artists and, you know, different people to do some creative stuff in a space, so that we wanted to have a unique look and feel. And we're going to change the dynamics of what's going on down there depending on what it is that we're recording and who we talking to. So it is a process. It is certainly a process, but I am glad that you guys are here for the journey with me. Shout out to all of the Tej Henley members. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We appreciate Tej for continuing to hold us down. Thank you, Tej Henley. Make sure you click the link in the description. Rock out with Tej, and we getting it popping, all right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is we're going to go ahead and get the housekeeping out of the way. Shout out to the bag chasers. So bag chasers, I have, as promised, being uploaded right now is the full interview, and this is going to take you a couple days at least. If you are a person with zeal, this is going to take you a couple days to get through, but I have the full interview with Brittany Renner being dropped directly. And when I say directly, I'm talking about within an hour, maybe an hour and a half, within an hour of this live stream ending, the Brittany Renner interview will be available for you guys to stream in the Patreon exclusively. Now, when I dropped the Charleston White interview in the Patreon, the full interview, right? They said, he gonna drop it for the general public. We gonna go ahead and wait on it. I'll drop some clips, but I didn't drop the whole interview. So eventually, probably maybe later on this week, it's been about a month now since we did the Charleston White interview. I can guarantee you this, probably the Brittany Renner full interview, I guarantee you it will not be available to the general public for at least a month. It will not be available to the general public for at least a month. At least. Not limited to, but it will not be available to the general public for at least a month. The quality is so good. The quality of this interview is so good. The audio, the visuals, everything, that the entire file size for the entire interview is over 40 gigs. I'm going to take my glasses off of that. Shout out to my editors. Shout out to the new team members that I got that's working vigorously to make sure that the quality is tight. I learned from my last interview. I've learned stuff from this interview that I'm going to take into new interviews. And you know what? From now on, I'm not even going to announce who it is that I have coming in. You're just going to see crazy interviews and content. I actually got somebody else flying in the week after we do the Patreon meetup. So we got the Patreon meetup this weekend. The details of that is in the Patreon now. I dropped that yesterday, right? And it's funny because even the 40 gig size of the interview won't have any bearing on you because you streaming it on the best platform that I could find to stream it on. It is going to be awesome, right? You know how Marvel and all of them drop movies and all of that? You know how you go to the movies and watch Thor? That's what I want to give my bag chasers. I want to give them in-person meetups like we doing this weekend. So every month we fly to a different location to make sure that we link up with y'all. I want to give you mastermind sessions, which I plan on doing those in person. We have the Patreon exclusive retreat being planned. Ain't nobody fucking with me. Ain't nobody messing with me. Please excuse me. I made a declaration yesterday that I'm going to stop cussing. Ain't nobody messing with my Patreon and my bag chasers. Make sure when you join a Patreon that you tap in and you actually go into the Discord because we're going to have further discussions as a result of it. All right. So I'm giving y'all whole movies from now on. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you full feature-length films, right? I'm giving you your own personal business program along with your own personal version of Netflix that is exclusive. Anton Daniels exclusives. You know how Netflix is over there doing their own exclusives? You know how Amazon and all of them, they doing their exclusives? We're going to do Anton Daniels exclusives. Yeah, we're going to do it. We doing a Patreon retreat. We doing build a business. We doing meetups. We doing mastermind sessions, exclusive videos, and we got exclusive interviews that's just for the bag chasers. Nobody can give you this level of value. Nobody. And it's only one tier left. The other ones are sold out. Don't ask me about it. I have no problem. It is what it is. So if you're not going out there and you're not getting the bag, I don't know what to tell you. So link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter, and we going to get it popping. All right. So now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, we're going to talk about Kanye West today. But I want to spin it a little differently because I've been watching this for an extended period of time. And Kanye West has been going on a rampage, like Kanye does, against Adidas, against Gap, against corporate America, against the establishment, the whole 9 yards. He's going against the establishment. And I want to break this down because one of the things that I'm always planning is planning my escape, planning my exit, and even planning the exit strategy from the different businesses that I'm a part of, but also when it comes to content creation, right? When I see what happened to Jordan Peterson, for example, when I see what happened to Andrew Tate, what they tried to do with Kevin Samuels, right? When I see what happened to Trump, not only am I looking at it from a financial perspective and I'm saying, hey, it's always better, or are you weighing the options of whether or not you want to be independent or you want to be corporate, right? When we say corporate, we can even include a lot of these rappers and entertainers, and you see the Meg Thee Stallions and they saying, yo, I want out of my contract. You see, what's my name? 5-Year Foreign getting into it with Mace, talking about, yo, Mace only gave me this or whatever, so on and so forth. when you see this, I know that a lot of these people don't understand business, especially the artists. But then when I see a lot of other artists and I see them playing the independent role, I think that it's a pro and a con because it's always not a pro just to go independent. But I want to mind that out, right? I want to mind that out. But before we get into that, I was on a call yesterday. It wasn't a coaching call. It was actually just a call that I was listening in on. And I was observing because somebody invited me to listen in because they wanted me to give them their constructive feedback of how it was that they performed, right? And so I was listening in, and what I realized yesterday is that most people have no clue of what it takes to get rich when it comes to looking at things from a business perspective. And let me give you the skinny, right? Most people are either all the way to the left or all the way to the right, whether it be politics, whether it be opinions about the Black community, whether it be relationships, but especially when it comes to money. And you would think that money is a universal principle or a universal way of looking at things, and that there's a one-size-fits-all solution to what it takes to be successful, right? And we're going to lean into the Kanye conversation right after we go on to this because it feeds into it. But the thing about it, and the thing that's interesting about this whole thing, is that you will have people that say, no, you got to have a lot of cash in order to be able to time the market. Even when it comes to the market, you'll say, yo, I'm a buy and hold type of person. Yo, I'm a strategic investor because I make informed decisions. No, I'm a day trader, and I'm even into Forex. So many different ways to lose or make money depending on how you look at it. And then you have different people that earn a lot of money but don't understand how money works. Take, for example, your favorite rapper or entertainer, right? It's not uncommon to see a basketball player, and these are only the ones that we know that are visible. It's not uncommon to see a basketball or a football player. Yo, I had a former football player that actually had it wasn't a Super Bowl ring. It was a college ring. He actually had won like a college playoff or something like that, right? And he was a former NFL player, and he was actually my Uber driver, right? Which is nothing wrong with working and getting to the bag and stuff like that. Like, you got to do what you got to do. But when I was hearing his story and he was telling me his story, he basically was telling me how he had no understanding of money and how he had to lean on his connections as far as people celebrating the victories that he had in yesteryear in order to even be able to feed his family. A lot of these guys are dying broke. It's just real. A lot of these guys are dying broke, right? You have a lot of people that make a lot of money, but they don't know how to keep a lot of money, and they don't even know what retirement or what would happen if they no longer was a part of that industry that they're making a lot of money. The runway for a lot of these NBA players, and we're not talking about the Dame Lillards, we're not talking about the LeBron James, we're not talking about the Steph Curry. Shout out to Steph Curry. I'm going to cover him tomorrow, probably, because I heard he signed up to $1 billion deal or something like that with Under Armour. But we're not talking about those guys. We're talking about the guys that got a runway of 2 to 7 years in a league, and they gonna make a decent amount of money. In the first $1 million that they spent, they blew it all, and they all are already in debt, and they still owe taxes. It's a lot of people that have no clue what it takes in order to be successful long term when it comes to money, right? It's already hard enough to get to the point where you're earning a lot. And once you get to that threshold, because if you earning a lot, chances are, if you are in corporate America, if you're a business owner, you grind. You grind to get to the point to where you're actually making an extraordinary amount of money. Even if you're an athlete, you had to train your entire life to get to the point where you have a short window in which you make a decent amount of money, right? And so that's half the battle, is getting to the point where you earn a decent amount of money. And we've already had a lot of those conversations about how 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 isn't enough to raise a family of 4 on. But once you get to the money, what you gonna do with it? And we forget that, right? That part goes out the window. We don't want to have the conversation once you have the bag. We only want to talk about how much you getting, and then we want to have another conversation about how much you lost and how much of a dusty you are when you got to go back and work at Target. I look at these real estate agents, and some of these real estate agents, they did $1 million deals. $1 million deals. Took home before taxes, 60. Some of them took home close to $100,000 after the deals is done, right? And they out here suffering right now because selling the property isn't as lucrative long term as owning the property. And there's multiple different ways to make money with regard to real estate, but the best way is to be able to take advantage of the tax advantages along with having somebody else pay off the mortgage long term and then be able to increase your net worth. But we're so busy looking at how much money somebody earned instead of looking at how much their net worth is. And so when you have these conversations with people and they say, I want a six-figure man, what does that really mean? A lot of these six-figure men got six-figure debt. And I'm not talking about good debt because there's a difference between good debt and bad debt. But when I say debt, universally, I'm talking about consumer debt. They're paying egregious amounts, 18 to 25% on their credit cards. They got all of these student loans that they still beg and buying to get rid of. They have no clue on how money works. You would not believe how many people I've coached, from corporate executives all the way to doctors and surgeons, who are making a ton of money, buying a ton of stuff. And just because they have a ton of stuff does not necessarily mean that they have a phenomenal net worth. Now, for them, it's a little bit different because they have a career in which they'll make a lot of money for a long time. So they have the ability to be able to circumvent all of the problems that they're going to run into by making more money. But when you talk about these rappers who got one-hit wonders or may even have a 3 to 5 year career, and that's phenomenal. Ain't nobody no Fat Joe out here. Ain't nobody no Fabulous. It's very rare of them. We always like to reference the Jay-Z, but we don't like to reference the Fetty Waps. When you talk about these people who have a short runway, window, quick money, fast money, don't understand how money works, it is not going to play in your best interest because you don't understand how money works. It's not about just getting rich. It's about staying richer. It's about understanding how money works. That is the key. Net worth. Long-term investments. Strategic. Not trying to get the meme stocks and all of this other type of stuff. You can't gamble your way to success. You can't. You can have a quick hit, but the one thing I know about gamblers, and two things are for certain, they're going to show you the wins, but they'll never show you how many losses they'll have. They'll never show you how much they're in the hole. And that's the difference between people that are authentic and real and that can show you the receipts and the people that's just trying to sell you a narrative and a dream. All right. So I just wanted to leave y'all with that before we get into the show and we start talking about Kanye West, because it's important for y'all to really, really think outside of the box and think outside of what your parents taught you. Think outside of what these echo chambers are teaching you. Think outside of the things that people are trying to sell you, and instead align yourself with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in, because there's so much information and so many different ways that you can skin that cat. But we don't want to have those conversations because it's too much work and it makes us too uncomfortable. But we spend more time working on a thing that's not in our best interest, whereas the library is free. My Patreon is very, very cheap. The availability of different people that can pour into you is there, but you don't want to do the work in order to really educate yourself and put yourself in a position of power. And that's being stupid. That ain't even being ignorant, because you know better. And if you know better, then you need to do better, because then you don't have any excuses. All right. So let's get into it. Again, the Patreon exclusive is going to be dropping right after this show. Shortly after the show, the Patreon exclusive is going to be popping. Probably within a couple hours, because we got to wait for the video to continue to render. All right. And then in addition to that, make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And then last but not, is the Patreon exclusive pinned to the top of the chat? Let me make sure. I don't even think this pinned to the top of the chat. I've been out here feverishly making sure that everything is perfect, that I haven't even had an opportunity to make sure the Patreon is pinned to the top of the chat in the description. But don't worry, we'll get there. Let me make sure it's pinned to the top of the chat. Thank you for all the cash apps. Everybody that sends super chats, you are much, much appreciated. Hey, I need y'all to hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. It is anemic in this mug. It's less than a 25% like rate on the thumbs up. What is going on? All of this good information that I give y'all every day. Now, if I start talking about these 304s and modern women, y'all gonna be like, yeah. But then I'm giving you something that actually help you change the trajectory of your life and give you generational wealth, and you don't want to hit a like for you. What is wrong? Come on, man. Y'all can do better than that. I'm not trying to get up and walk away or none of that. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm and let's get it popping. What is going on with y'all? Y'all just come in and steal information and that's the end of the conversation? Is that what we doing? You come in, you steal information, you do reaction videos, and then you just keep on moving. You don't even hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Okay. If you need to email me, get in touch with me, antondaniels413@gmail.com. And then we're going to make sure that you're taken care of. We're going to get you set up for a Zoom call, a personal call, so on and so forth. Pretty soon, I will tell you guys, pretty soon, I am going to be cutting off phone calls because we are already booking through November. And pretty soon, we're going to be booking through December. Now, the last couple weeks of December, I don't plan on taking many calls because I am contemplating. I know my Patreon bag chasers was telling me, Anton, we want to spend New Year's with you in Miami. So me and Rita are mine. I'm not going to tell y'all whether or not we doing it, but it is a possibility that we may have a New Year's party / New Year's get together, have a good time in Miami. So I'm going to give y'all a heads up sooner rather than later if that thing manifests. But shout out to JT Coin Rings. He says, good morning, Anton and Bag Chasers. Good morning to you, JT Coin Rings. I appreciate you for rocking with me. Thank you, Kevin Jarrett. Kevin Jarrett says, just checking in. Shout out to you, Anton and the Bag Chasers. Loving the Patreon. He said, loving the Patron. I like Patron too. But loving the Patreon. Keep up the good content. Loving it. Thank you, my friend. And thank you for being a bag chaser. We gonna get it popping. So listen, it is a possibility. We got so much planned for you guys. Oh my goodness. You guys are going to love it every single year. We continue to run that up, make sure it's dope, make sure it's popping, and we're going to get it popping, all right? So let's continue, all right? Kanye West was spotted at Fashion Week, and he was out here in these streets, and for the past week or so, he's been threatening to leave Adidas. Trail Fast says, Time Dog, you about to make me move back to Miami. I've been debating it. You ain't got to move back. But I'm just saying, we might have a little bit of new. I don't know. Rita is trying to convince me. I'm like, I don't know, Rita, but we gonna get it popping. Shout out to Brock. Brock says, pass a love offering early. I appreciate all the good information you provide on a daily basis. And I appreciate you for your continued consistent support, Brock. Thank you for making sure that we taken care of over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. We appreciate you. So Kanye West, he's been going off for an extended period of time. And he's been threatening to leave Adidas and Gap. Now, for two different reasons, Adidas is apparently the biggest culprit, right? And I'm going to go over this, but the first thing that hit my mind and the first thing that I started researching, because I have only sold one pair of sneakers over the past year. I have hundreds and hundreds of pairs of Yeezys and Jordans and 1s and Fear Gods and Jordan 11s and Flint 13s and Yeezy slides and all of this foam runners and everything, right? And it's funny. Hey, do y'all remember I was giving game on Lapeef one day and I said, yo, anything can be an asset, an appreciating asset if you understand it, A, and B, if it continues to go up in value and you understand how to make money from it. Well, the sentiment around the streets, around every sneaker collector, every person that is prominent on YouTube, is that the price of Yeezys, because he is breaking his agreement with Adidas, is skyrocketing. It's skyrocketing. Remember when they laughed at me? Ha! Anton said Yeezys. Remember when they laughed at me? The price of the brick is out of control. And I have hundreds of exclusive pair of Yeezys that have never been worn. And the price of the brick is skyrocketing. When I buy things and I hold them, I'm making an informed decision as to whether or not it is going to appreciate over time and where I can put money by both enjoying the stuff, whether I'm using it as art in the background, whether I just appreciate the sneaker, but everything I do, I look at from a business perspective. The price of the brick is going up. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to actually probably do a Patreon exclusive as far as what my investment strategy is and how I go about looking at sneakers. That's a whole nother conversation. But I'm going to go ahead and break this down for you really quickly. But we're going to first start off with a few videos, okay? We're going to mine this out, and we're going to look at this from a business perspective because it's not just conducive to just look at, hey, oh, Yeezy, oh, corporate America, I'm not going to wear Adidas, whatever. We have to look at this holistically, right? And so now that we're looking at it holistically and when it all comes back to the money, we're going to break this thing down and we're going to go through several videos, and we're also going to give the interview that he's just recently given to Bloomberg on what his next strategy is. And that's going to inform us on where we need to put our money and how we need to invest in things. Again, make sure you hit the link for the Patreon. It's in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's deep dive into this Yeezy whole saga, right?
Kanye West, or Yee, is still going off on Instagram, turning his attention to Adidas, his longtime partner and Authentic Brands Group, in recent days. On Adidas specifically, the rapper and self-proclaimed fashion icon suggested Adidas don't want no more smoke. Julie, it has been interesting. I didn't realize I wasn't following Kanye West on Instagram up until last week. I thought I was. Nonetheless, he's been posting photos of Adidas board members on his Instagram account. Really, for the past week, he picked up those attacks on various members of the board and the management team over the weekend. His contention continues to be that Adidas has been copying his designs and trying to move his Yeezy brand, which is now worth over $1 billion inside of Adidas, just trying to move that brand forward without his approval and liking. So he has now taken to his Twitter account and his Instagram account, I should say, and just really taken them to task at length.
I mean, it seems like if there's actual substance there, he could file a lawsuit instead of just going on social media.
Yeah, the next thing that dropped would be Gap. He's also been attacking them on Instagram as well. He could.
Here's the key, though. Here's the key about this whole thing, though. Yeezy's recently went on a rant, right? And I don't think it's as much of a rant as people think it is, because the more that Kanye does things, the more we realize that Kanye ain't as crazy as we thought he was, right? Think about this for a second, right? When you think about Kanye and what he's saying that, listen, if you're an informed investor, you got to understand that Yeezy has jumped over Nike in a lot of ways. Yeezy regularly, in some forms, along some lines, are outselling Nike. Yes, Yeezy jumped over the Jumpman in a lot of ways. Real talk. That's A. B, you also have to understand that even with Adidas not traditionally being a classic sneaker maker in the United States of America, they tried to sign different athletes. They signed Trae Young. They signed Dame Lillard. They signed James Harden. And Yeezy is the person that is propping up the line. And Yeezy is the one that is responsible for over 60+%. Over 2/3 of all online sales belong to Kanye West. That is power. Over 2/3 of all online sales for Adidas. And see, these are the things that I'm looking at. I'm not looking at whether or not, oh, look at his style and all of this other type of stuff. I'm looking at the numbers, because the numbers will tell you and inform you as to how things are or aren't supposed to go from an investment perspective. And if Kanye is doing over 2/3 of the online sales, and you got to remember, Adidas is traditionally an overseas company in that they sell soccer, they sell jerseys, right? They're doing all of that, but Yeezy single-handedly carried them and increased the value of that brand significantly, especially when it comes to e-commerce and online sales. But what I'm seeing happening is that I believe that Adidas has known that Yeezy was leaving for a long time because of its displeasure of how things are running now that the person that signed him over to that Adidas deal is no longer there. And they're starting to copy a lot of his designs, and it's absolutely egregious. Here, I'll give y'all an example. Let me pull some of this up. I'm going to show y'all some of the designs that I'm seeing that they're doing. They're literally ripping off Ye's design. which is one of the things that Ye is talking about. Check this out right here, y'all. Look at this. What the heck is this? Now, the top one, for those of you that are not familiar, is the actual Yeezy slide, which is inspired by Japanese culture. And then the bottom one is the recent Adidas release, in which they're trying to capitalize off of Yeezy, in which this is the thing that Yeezy has been talking about a long time. Now, he's saying that, listen, I got creative control over my brand. This is what I do, so on and so forth. But now Adidas is starting to copy Yeezy's designs and then try to pass them off like it's Yeezy inspired, and it's not. It's not. Here, let me give you another example. We're gonna move this over. We're gonna move that one over. I'll give you another example of what they recently released. Look at this foolishness. What is the Adidas Quake? These are literally knockoffs. These are knockoffs of the foam runners, and I believe not the 700, but the what's the name of them shoes? What the heck is that? And so they're literally trying to capitalize. Look at this foolishness. What is this? That is not a foam runner. This is an official Adidas shoe. And this is the thing. This is the thing that Kanye has been complaining about. Did you know that Yeezy Day, the last Yeezy Day? Here, watch this. Here, we're just going to close that out. I'm going to leave these fake Yeezys up here, though. Look at this nonsense. This is supposed to be, the foam runner is the one on the left. And I don't know what that is on the right. They are literally stealing his styles, his designs, his likenesses, and trying to copy them. And then furthermore, here, let's do this. More importantly, did you know that Yeezy Day, in which a lot of the old designs and the old re-releases were not authorized by Yeezy, which is one of the things he's been complaining about? So basically what he's saying is that, listen, you can't buy me at this point because now I've made enough money and I have control over my brand, and I've had the creative control and the wherewithal to actually structure my contract because I learned from when Nike ripped me off. He's saying that, listen, I have the creative control and the ability to be able to really capitalize off of my own likeness instead of just the partnership that you're capitalizing off of, and you're not actually celebrating what it is that I'm doing or allowing for me to have creative control. And it doesn't matter if it's ugly or not. Y'all missing the point inside of the chat. It doesn't matter if it's ugly or not. It matters if whether or not you're trying to cannibalize my creativity, because even if you think it's ugly, somebody else and other people apparently think it's dope because I'm carrying this brand with over two-thirds of the online sales. And so if the corporate, and he said, listen, I know y'all been selling knockoff Yeezys over in China. Adidas selling knockoff Yeezys, allegedly, according to Kanye West, over in China. But let's continue, because his problem is not just with Yeezy. His problem is also with Gap.
All falls down. Kanye West trying to walk away from his fashion partners, Gap and Adidas, accusing the companies of stealing his designs and breaking promises that would help expand his portfolio. The drama is where we find Sazi's take today. Saz, what's the T from Ye?
Yeah, you best believe if there is drama and if there's retail drama, that's where you're going to find me, yours truly. So I'm going to lock in on Gap here. Now, Gap, more than a year ago, signed Kanye West to this big, splashy 10-year deal. Now, former CEO Sonia Singhal signed that deal. On the day that deal was announced, Gap shares rose 42% under this notion that Kanye West was going to save a dying Gap.
Now think about that, y'all. Think about the level of power that this man has from his creative designs. On the day that they announced the Gap deal, Gap exploded to a 42% growth in their stock price. Do you know how insane that is? 42% jump in stock price just from the very announcement that Kanye would be involved in it. You know, I read this book. I'm going to go get it for you really quickly. I'm going to let this play. I'm going to go get the book for you.
then. This has been a disastrous deal based on people that I have talked to ever since this deal was enacted, and for a couple reasons. And I listed them here. First, you just have a terrible management team at Gap that is now, of course, currently in place, but also beforehand, that don't even know what to do with Kanye West, not even also unsure how to handle him, how to approach him, and really ultimately bring his vision to life. And it is a good vision. He's made billions of dollars for Adidas, and that terrible management team at Gap has not figured out what in the world to do with Kanye West, and has not helped them at all. Next, virtually no promotion. Because of that terrible management, you just don't see a lot of promotion out there for these Kanye West products, and you should, because they are some of the most exciting things in this store, a horrifically boring store that is Gap. Next, no complete look on sale. Now, I think a little bit of this falls on Kanye West. We've seen hoodies released. We've seen puffer jackets with no zippers, no real pants, no real overall wardrobe where a consumer can go into the store, find this, and leave with a complete outfit and say, hey, you know what? I look like Kanye West. I'm really cool. Let me take myself some photos for Instagram and TikTok. Next, too much competition. A lot of other retailers have upped their game, so it's going to be hard for Kanye, I would say, to cut through a lot of that clutter, even though he is cool, big social media presence, to cut through that clutter. And last,
so this is one of the books that I've read that very, very much helped me. And now, one of the things that I know for sure is that you can literally gain inspiration from anywhere in order to put two things together. From an investor's perspective, guys, okay, I want you to start looking a little bit deeper at the things that you read and you take in on a regular basis. This book is called The Tanning of America. It was written by Steve Stout. It's called The Tanning of America, and it's written by Steve Stout. Now, I am not a blackety black, which means that I do not lean into black, just the pigmentation of your skin in order to determine whether or not you're awesome or you're not. I rock with people based off of the content of their character. But it is no denying that some of the most influential people, which is one of the things that I say is worse for us, but there are benefits that come along with it. Some of the most influential people in the world when it comes to creativity, whether that's the songs that we write, because let's be clear, right? The same way that I give smoke is the same way that I have to give credit. Black people are responsible for rock and roll. Black people are responsible for blues. Black people are responsible for hip hop. Black people are responsible for a lot of the R&B and the singing that we have today. So the ability to be able to market and capitalize off of that is something that corporations have been doing for a long time, and they're doing it very much here on YouTube. They're doing it here on YouTube also, which is one of the reasons why I say, and this is an argument that me and Kevin Samuels used to have privately on a regular basis, right? Because contrary to popular belief, me and Kev had a brotherly type of relationship in that it wasn't all peaches and cream. And just because there's nothing that I would ever say against him online does not mean that we didn't have civil discourse from a business perspective about the different things that was happening. Now, Kev understood and he believed in being platform agnostic, which is basically that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You make sure that you are on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, and you put up different content for different platforms in order to serve that particular audience, and TikTok, right? But what happens when you're an Andrew Tate, and then once they ban you on Facebook and Meta platforms, it also extends over into Instagram. And then also YouTube catches word of it and they start deleting you and shadow banning you and removing you, and any type of channel that they think is associated with you is removed. And I said, Kev, listen, I believe in being platform agnostic, but I also understand that a lot of these places in the short term, for now, they're awesome, but they're also a funnel. And what happens when you get big enough to really be able to capitalize off of your own likeness? How much of a percentage do you give to the platforms? And one of the people that I look up to is Logan and Jake Paul. They were smart, right? We don't have to just look to us. Listen, I can read The Tanning of America to understand that no matter what Kanye does, he's going to be impactful. He moved over from Nike and went over to Yeezy. And I'm sure when he leaves Yeezy or he leaves Adidas, right, he's also going to be incredibly successful doing his own thing, and we're going to mine that out. But also, and make sure y'all get this book, The Tanning of America from Steve Stout, because you can then put together different things and different themes and different levels of understanding in order to be able to combine that with your financial tools and information to make more informed decisions and also be able to implement it into your own life, understanding what your brand and marketing power is, right? So think about it though. Think about it. And this is why I don't just stay in an echo chamber, because I'm not just looking at black people or Mexicans or Asians or anybody to determine what it is that I need to do from a long term. Because listen, everything I do, I'm playing it for the long term. I'm not playing it just for now or tomorrow or whatever. I'm playing it for forever. But think about it though. Logan and Jake Paul is very much thriving outside of these platforms because they took on the same approach as Money Mayweather, except for they used their platform from a content creation perspective and leveraged that to move into different industries as well as create their own platforms. They didn't wait until they got banned. They looked at what could happen to them based off of the different things that was happening to them at the time where people was turning against them. And then they leveraged those platforms in order to be able to create their own thing. That was a long-term play. Why are we not taking these same lessons and waiting until somebody like Yeezy or Adidas copy their designs and then they want to leave? When they leave out of that particular thing, Yeezy or Kanye is smart, bro. We're going to look back on what the moves that Kanye made, and it's not even going to matter about the antics of whether or not he was typing on Twitter. We're going to look back. We're going to look back on the things that Kanye did, and we're going to say, yo, he was really a pioneer. He was really the guy that set the bar as to how we could move more strategically, keep more money in our pocket, and then also control the narrative and not be controlled by corporate entities. Let me give a shout out to a few people. Shout out to Brock. I appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold me down. He said, I couldn't understand how much push you got in that conversation on the People Let's Talk that day, shaking my head because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. I'm going to be saying some things over the next month that's going to be like, yo, Anton is crazy. And you know what they're going to say a year from now? Maybe he wasn't so wrong. But it's all right. Shout out to Black Heights, Advancing Your Career. Make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. He talk a lot about money and careers and how it is that you can get the bag in those careers. He says, keep up the great work, Anton. Inspiring. When are you headed to Austin, San Antonio, where the women eat 10 churros a day? We can head down to San Antonio very soon. Let me talk to Rita and see what she want to do. I actually been wanting to see San Antonio. I haven't seen San Antonio. But make sure y'all read The Tanning of America. Shout out to you at Black Heights, Advancing Your Career. Make sure y'all read The Tanning of America because there is so much information that you can lean into in order to understand the power of marketing and branding. And you don't have to be subjected to. Let me just say this one thing and then we're going to get back into the easy conversation, right? The thing that I always am disappointed at is that everybody looks at everybody and everybody tries to copy everybody based off of a small segment or demographic of success, right? I'll give you an example. When we look at YouTube, okay? When we look at YouTube and we had these conversations and we say, yo, the manosphere, relationships, so on and so forth. If you look back at my journey in YouTube, one of the reasons why I didn't grow as much as I should, even though I was getting a lot of subscribers and I had a lot of viral videos and things, one of the reasons that I didn't grow is that I wouldn't let them box me in, right? When I started off on YouTube, I got into YouTube because I wanted to market myself to corporate America and have more visibility that allowed for me to, right, level up and get get a leg up on the other people that were going into certain careers. So it made people more relatable to me that weren't necessarily informed on who I was. And then ever since I left the University of Michigan, I have never looked for a job. I've just had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And even the place that I'm at right now, it came as a part of my network. The YouTube popularity just came along with it. I was more interested in documenting my life, sharing my family. I was doing urban exploration. My first viral video was I was the last person to explore the Pontiac Silverdome because I was so interested in the history of why things happened from a financial perspective as far as what they did. The Lions moving into Detroit and then them abandoning the Pontiac Silverdome. Now where the Pontiac Silverdome is an Amazon warehouse facility. I was documenting and taking into consideration my architectural background and my interest in what America had become at the time based off of what happened in the 2008 recession and the things that happened before that, right? And so my thing was, I'm not going to let you box me in, because I did a lot of exploration videos, and then people would say, Anton, we want more, we want more, we want more, exploration, exploration, exploration. And I was saying, well, I'm kind of growing out of that. And so either my audience is going to grow with me, or we just going to keep it moving, because a lot of those guys that did exploration videos, they got stuck. They got stuck in exploration videos, even though that's not even who they are anymore. It's another YouTuber, and his name is Salamandrin, right? I think his name is Salamandrin, and he was a car guy. Kind of reminded me of, God, what's that other car guy? It's a lot of car guys, right? It was a time where pranks was big, and then car guys were, hey, supercar blondies and all of those type of people. There was a guy named Salamandrin, right? And he was very much a, hey, listen, I'm getting these cars or whatever, and he exploded based off of that, right? And the thing about Salamandrin is, if you look at what he's doing now, he's trying to transition his channel into things that's more meaningful in current events based off of him. And you know what people are doing? They not rocking with him, because his core group audience only was rocking with him based off of those cars, right? So I never let anybody box me in. And I said that I'm going to do it my way, and I'm willing to do it slowly, because the people that are going to rock with me are going to rock with me forever, because they understand me, and it's not a theme that they rocking with. They rocking with me, and they're going to grow with me, right? They're going to evolve. It's going to be a difference between how they not rocking with Bow Wow, because they still look at Bow Wow as a little kid, but they rolling with Justin Timberlake because they've grown with him through Disney channels and NSYNC and Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson nipple ring and all of that. They've continued to grow with him, and now he's into acting, right? I wanted to be the Justin Timberlake. I didn't want to be the Bow Wow. And so I did not let them box me in, and I was willing to forego the popularity that goes along with all of the videos that was going viral in order to pivot and do something different, because I wanted to make sure that my strategy aligned with what my long-term vision was. And we don't have that vision. We sitting up here and we saying, yo, everybody got to talk about relationships. Everybody got to have a panel. Everybody got to do this, right? When I did the late night live streams was based off of something that was authentically happening, because I wanted people to stay in the house, and then it transformed into what it is. It organically did what it did, right? It's a part of my life. It's a part of who I am, right? And it's so many different ways for us to skin this cat, but we all think we got to be in the same category in order to be able to be successful or get some visibility, and we not doing it for the right reasons. Listen, it's people out there. You know who I love? I love Malevolent Elephant. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Malevolent Elephant. Malevolent Elephant is silently killing YouTube. He come and visit and he watch us, but you know what he be posting? Animal videos. Ain't nobody thinking about animal videos. I was coaching a guy, and he was trying to be a rapper. And he was trying to be one of them sing-songy, the Drake type, Travis Scott's or whatever. And his rap career wasn't popping, and he was starting to age out. And he said, Anton, I need to get to this bag, but I've dedicated so much of my life to this, and it just ain't working. I said, you need to pivot. Pivot to what? Well, why don't you write some anthems and some themes for children videos? Why don't you do children videos? You sound good. You just don't look good. You ain't got the look for a rapper. You trying to be conscious. They not. They trying to put out money phones. Do you know this guy is silently, you don't even know who he is. He's silently killing the game, because he over there writing children's themes and doing children's music videos, animating children's music videos based off of the content that he putting together. It's people killing it off of cats. Huh? It's people talking about careers, electronics, the type of beers that they like, the type of cars that they drive. It's people that's doing construction videos and all of this other type of stuff. But we're sitting here trying to put ourselves in a box, not understanding our true power by leaning into the thing that makes you unique. There is something unique about you, but you're so busy trying to be like everybody else because you got a fear of missing out type of mentality that all you doing is continuing to chase other people's dreams, and you can't get successful because you don't understand what it takes in order to be great. There is an audience, 9 billion people out in this world, and I guarantee you there is 100,000 of them available for your type of content, but you're so busy trying to impress other people and lean into somebody else's dreams that you cannot truly understand that you are great on your own. You can create your own audience. You don't need anybody else. You don't need somebody else's ideas. If you fix refrigerators, do some videos on what the problems are with refrigerators and common issues, and you can blow up. And more importantly, you don't even need to blow up. Maybe you just need to create that video to market yourself to a bigger customer and demographic for the business that you already got started. But you so busy trying to be like everybody. Don't let me get derailed, y'all. Y'all know I go on these rants and it get different. And so listen, we gonna go back into the Yeezy conversation. But the thing that I love about Kanye and this book, The Tanning of America, I read a different book every single week so that I can be more informed on how it is that I'm making decisions, is that they're not afraid to lean into what makes them unique, which everybody else is calling them crazy, but there's a large demographic of people that truly rock with what it is that they're putting together. That's the truth. That's why we the Millionaire Morning Show over here, because we give game. We giving you life advice. We doing it different than the church. The church will tell you a good message that sounds good, but then when you leave and on Monday morning, you don't have no tangible steps that actually allow for you to become great. Let's continue. They saying that it's terrible management at Gap. Virtually no promotion. You got to spend money in order to make money. No complete look on sale. No complete look, meaning that they're not putting the resources and the things in place, which is one of the problems that come along with big companies. I'm going to break this down in a minute.
Not least, you don't get not a very exclusive feeling at Yeezy, at Adidas, also locking in on Adidas. Adidas has driven a lot of exclusivity with the sneakers that Kanye West has driven. You just don't get that sense with what they have done at Gap. So it's just not a good look. And now I think it falls ultimately onto the next CEO of Gap, whoever that might be, interim.
I need y'all to hit a like for the YouTube algorithm before we continue, because I give y'all too much free game on a regular basis. These are conversations that I usually reserve for my bag chasers. If you want to tap into the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. These are the conversations that we have in person on the meetups that we're going to have on this Saturday. I need you to hit the like for the YouTube algorithm at least. You get too much free game. You're going to go and listen to the foolishness later night. And I ain't even cussing no more, which means that you can listen to this around your kids. You can send this to your grandma. I need you to hit a like for the algorithm to make sure that you at least acknowledge the game that you get in the day. Let's continue.
Bob Martin, he's still in there doing his thing, yeah, and normally a terrible thing. But do they stay with Kanye? This is a long deal. Reportedly, it was worth up to $1 billion. Now, I don't think Gap has the money to get out of a deal like this, but still, they cannot continue along the situation where they have Kanye out here attacking this brand.
I have push and pull feelings about Kanye for a range of reasons, but if there's one thing that I will...
Hold on, wait a minute. I know we talking about Kanye right quick, but wait a minute, sir. Where your stash at, homie? Hold on. Let me get a little closer to see what's going on here. Where your stash at? You know we don't trust black men that ain't got no mustache, homie. How did he get that job? I don't trust this. Who is this man with no stash? I don't want to derail the show. I want to hear what his point is, but I'm having a hard time trusting this man because he ain't got no stash.
Concede to him is that it's a disruption of how we think about where and why we are purchasing certain things. And here's why I say that, because number one, there are certain agreements that he had made with the companies to try and have his own.
I can't get past the no stash. I'm sorry, y'all. Where is your stash? He got a nice suit on. I like the tie. The glasses, they cool. Where is your stash, homie?
Physical stores. However, what we've become so accustomed to is going into a physical store and saying we need to buy an entire outfit, when the reality is most people will go into a store, they might pick out one or two things and they'll say, this is what I can afford for right now. He was supposed to be producing product lines that kept most of his products available and for purchase for the average consumer out there, keeping them under $100. He's been struggling to do that. He's also been struggling to come up with a full line that would warrant putting an entire brick and mortar facility in a new location. And
so listen to what's happening right now. He's criticizing Kanye and not looking at things from a holistic perspective, understanding that the company still got the power. And this is how we know that he doesn't like, if you listen to his sentiment, every argument that he's making, this guy with no stash, and I have not seen this video, This guy with no stash is going in on Ye, saying he ain't delivering this. And he's not looking at the points that the white guy, this is why I don't rock with people based off of color. I rock with people based off of character. He's not looking at, let me rewind to the points that the white guy was making. Check this out. He said, listen, Kanye got a problem because there's been terrible management at Gap. It's been virtually no promotion. No complete look on sale. Has been too much competition and not as exclusive feeling as Yeezy at Adidas. Now look at Mr. Stash. Listen to his argument and read between the lines, and don't just listen to what he says. Listen to how he's saying it and what he's trying to imply.
What we've become so accustomed to is going into a physical store and saying we need to buy an entire outfit. When the reality is most people will go into a store, they might pick out one or two things and they'll say, you know, this is what I can afford for right now. He was supposed to be producing product lines that kept most of his products available and for purchase for the average consumer out there, keeping them under $100. He's been
Now, when did Kanye ever say that I'm keeping my stuff under $100? But let's continue.
Struggling to do that. He's also been struggling to come up with a full line that would warrant putting an entire brick and mortar facility in a new location. And so I think that was an issue in some of the negotiations early on, is that they didn't truly understand, I think for both parties, honestly, that in order for the...
No, it's not for both parties. Listen, when you find a dude, and this is what no stash don't understand. When you find a guy as creative as Yeezy, when he has a proven track record of being awesome and delivering, you let that man work. You don't get in the way. You stay out of the way. You find as much financing and you give him as much money as you can, and you let him carry the flag. You give him all the autonomy. You say, listen, you drop when you want to. You got an unlimited budget. You can do whatever you want to do. Just share the profits with your boy. Listen, some things don't even need to be looked at from a business perspective. Just the very idea that Yeezy decided to get in business with you is a blessing. Your stock price jumped 42% overnight, in the very instance that they announced that you were associated with the brand. This is not a partnership. This is a dictatorship. And sometimes you have to hand over the reins, especially when you have been unable to do it yourself. You hand over the reins to the creative genius. Now, if it's me, Yeezy can have everything in that Gap store and you can do what you want to do. You do not stand in the way of creative geniuses. Can you imagine? Do you know that that's how the Bulls broke up? That's how the Bulls broke up. It's because management got in the way. They didn't give Phil Jackson his money. They told Jordan it was going to be his last season there. Pippen was like, I'm out of here too. You don't stand in the way of greatness. You let them do what they do. You give them the bag. You give them everything they want. Under Armour says, listen, we love The Rock. We love Tom Brady. We love Steph Curry. And we are going to give them everything we want. Nike said, you know what? We messed up. We messed up with Curry. But we not letting LeBron and Jordan go. You get out the way when these dudes know what they doing and you doing what you do. You let them set whatever price they want to set. You let them produce however many they want to produce, and you stay out the way. Stash.
The profit and loss to actually make sense, it would need to still cater towards what that traditional retail experience would be like, while at the same time trying to drive exclusivity, so much so to the point where you might walk up and just see a whole closet of puffer jackets in one store, just a puffer jacket store.
No, those are, Brad, that's so on the mark. And then I would say another mistake they made too. Why is he just designing for Gap? If you're going to pay somebody $1 billion over 10 years and you're Gap, well, you know what? You also own Old Navy. You also own Banana Republic. I would be keen to try a reinvented wear-to-work outfit from Kanye West from Banana Republic. I would be keen to see if Kanye...
No, you don't do that. You let him do what he did at Adidas, right? You didn't see Kanye designing Adidas jackets. You didn't see Kanye starting to move over into other brands. You let Yeezy be Yeezy at Gap. If that's what he wants to do, you let him do whatever he want to do. You stay out of the way. And this is why suits can't be a part of the creative process, because if they knew better, then they would have already done it. Suits and bean counters mess up products. It reminds me of cars, right? And I remember when I used to go to the auto show, because it was a big thing here in Detroit before the pandemic. When we used to go to the auto show, when you would see a concept car and you would be like, man, if I got that concept car, if that came to the market, I would buy it tomorrow. And by the time you get it, it's so dumbed down and it looks so stupid that it's like, man, that looked just like the last car that y'all had going out. It looked the same way. One of the brands that's absolutely killing it is Hyundai and Kia. The very concept cars that they've been producing as far as from an electric perspective and a Genesis and a Honda. I looked at a Genesis. I was like, I might have to get me a Genesis. I said, nah, let me go ahead and stick with this Mercedes-Benz. I need this S-Class. I need this Porsche. I looked at that Hyundai, them Genesis. I said, that car is sick. It looked just like the concept car. Looked just like the concept car. Leave the bean counters out of the creative process and you figure out how to get it on the shelves. That's your job. When I got these editors and I got these new people in here and these creative directors that I'm hiring as a part of this content creation space, I'm not in their way. I let them do what they want to do. Listen, this is your world. My job is to make sure that you got the resources in order to be able to be successful. Let them do their job.
Get his price points down for a hoodie to $30 for that economically sensitive Old Navy customer. You could have done more here. Look, here's my take before we'll let everyone go here and do their thing. Fire away. Kanye West, look, well, there we go. Hell yeah, Kanye is right to take on Gap. And
but you got the regular.
All right, so now that we got that out of the way, I want to go through this article really quickly. with Bloomberg that Kanye had detailing specifically why he's done with corporate America and why he's going it alone. And then I want to go through the pros and cons of what that looks like. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So, oh God, let me figure out how to do this. Oh, that's where I was pulling up all of these whack Yeezy designs. You're right. My bad. Let me see if I can get this up. All right, there we go. Why he's done with corporate America and he's going it alone. All right. This is a conversation he had with Bloomberg. Let me read some of these super chats. Aaron says, Ye got the blueprint. Watch the next moves. Anybody that's associated with Ye gonna win. Kids and all. Getaway Sound says, I left my multi-million dollar family business because my father was a simp and married a demon woman whose son-in-law was a suit that thought he knew better than us creatives. Wow. That's an interesting thing. Yeah, I'm interested in hearing that story. Jordan Smith says, Anton, just a heads up, due to the current and the rising railroad strike, Biden just announced that if trains delay, chlorine will not be delivered to the water filters, meaning USA could soon have a water crisis in all 48 states. Oh, Jesus Christ. Always something. Did y'all know inflation is still at 8.3%? That was announced yesterday. Did y'all know inflation is still at 8. When we gonna get it better? When we gonna get some work done? Y'all so busy worried about student loans that y'all ain't even about to have no water. Jesus Christ. Anyways, rapper and designer Kanye West, who now goes by Ye, says he's done with his corporate partners and plans to branch out solo. Now, I want to break this down for you guys, all right? Because there are pros and cons that come along with being solo. On the pro side, you have complete creative control. On the con side, you have complete creative control, which means that you have nobody watching over you. You have no kind of marketing promotion from the bigger companies. You have no kind of platform in which you can already or baseline. And this is one of the things that come along with car companies, right? Because we've seen a lot of electric car makers, Bollinger, all of these different places, but it's hard for them to ramp up because they don't have the infrastructure. They don't already have the plants. They don't already have the financing, and they don't already have things in place to allow for them to be able to scale up versus traditional automakers that are just pivoting and making a capital investment in what it is that they already have. Let's continue. It's time for me to go it alone, Ye said in a phone interview. It's fine. I made the company's money. This is him being diplomatic, right? Because he had smoke from him the other day. I made the company's money. The companies made me money. I made them rich. They made me richer. We created ideas that will change apparel forever. like the round jacket, the foam runner, the slides that have changed the shoe industry. Now it's time for Ye to make the new industry. You know, he was probably rapping on the phone. We changed the shoe industry. Now it's time for Ye to make a new industry. No more companies standing in between me and the audience. He's saying, listen, we've evolved so much, and I agree with him 100%. He's saying we've evolved so much, we don't need a middleman anymore. There is no more middleman. The internet was the great differentiator between what companies were able to do and what the individual were able to do, right? If you were able to create a product that was great enough, you were able to have the exact same impact on individual people as large companies. Large companies then became beholden to great content makers instead of it being the other way around. You didn't need them to blow you up. You already blew yourself up. If you look at a lot of these record companies, right? A lot of these content creators, Spotify came to Joe. Joe didn't go pitching to Spotify, which means that Joe was able to make a stronger pitch, Joe Rogan that is, make a stronger pitch as to what he wanted and what he stood for, right? Musicians from yesteryear, y'all need to read this Tannin of American book. Musicians from yesteryear were largely reliant on the record company to give them any kind of visibility, which was why they got in these bad deals in the first place. Now record companies are saying, listen, we only rocking with people that already got a following and that got they self hot. Kevin Hart, one of the best businessmen from the creative perspective and from a comedian perspective, one of the best businessmen saying, listen, these companies that sign me up for movies and want to do business with me, they got to pay for my following. They got to pay for me to say anything to my audience, and they got to resonate with my audience as far as the product that we pitching. Otherwise, I don't want to do it because I've already got myself hot. Pay for their own specials, did their own stuff. Get yourself hot. When you get yourself hot, you make more money. When you get yourself hot. It's a lot of people that has a large following and they not getting no money. They don't know how to get no money. I remember, God, I am giving y'all too much sauce today. I remember very early, I studied all of the early YouTubers, right? And I was looking at people like FouseyTube. Y'all remember FouseyTube? FouseyTube recently got knocked out. Do you know that FouseyTube does not own any of his original content? He has signed a deal, and I got pitched a deal. Hey, listen, I want you to sign with this management company. Hey, listen, I want you to sign with this content creation company. We can blow you up. It's like, nah, I already got my own money. I already got rich. I don't need no money from y'all. Do you know he owns none of his old original content? None of it. A lot of these dudes are not getting bags like y'all think that they are. A lot of these rappers are not making money like y'all think they are. And every single dime that they make, they have to cut in they record label because they in a 360 deal, which means that the 360 deal means that they get a cut of everything you do because it's much more difficult for them to recoup off of the money, but off of the music. But the music is the thing that got you hot in the first place. I'm telling you, no more companies standing in between me and the audience is what Ye said. Even with billions of dollars in revenue and two of the fashion industry's most lucrative royalty deals at stake, Ye has shown full willingness to publicly battle the very same corporations he's worked most closely with. But there are obstacles to clean break. Foremost are his high-profile long-term arrangement with Adidas to produce sneakers like the Yeezy Boost 350, which expires in 2026. And an apparel agreement with Gap that ends in 2030. They'll just have to get along. Ye said they my new baby mamas. I guess we just gonna have to co-parent those 350s. Representatives for Gap and Adidas declined. Now, word on the street is that Yeezy actually can get out of his deal within 8 months. That Yeezy can actually get out of his deal within 8 months. But you know what I'm going to sit on? I'm going to sit on every pair of 350s, 700s. Every pair of Yeezys that I got my hands on, I'm sitting on it. Let's continue. Ye intends to open his own Donda campuses, named after his late mother, across the country, which will house shopping, schools, farms, and dorms all together. You know, Ye getting too much money when he can do all of this. Products sold there will be unique to Yeezy's physical and online shops designed by existing Yeezy staff. He said he's working with former Adidas executive Eric, who now runs the independent plant-based clothing operations Unless Collective. In recent weeks, he's been urging potential job candidates with expertise in opening retail networks to reach out to him. Remember when Kanye was on Sway and all of these other platforms and the Breakfast Club, and he was saying that, yo, I need a company to back me. Mark Zuckerberg, come get behind me. Disney, come and give me a bag so I can do this creative thing. Now Ye is so rich, and he had that vision, which was completely different from what anybody else was talking about, which is why most people was criticizing him at the time. And there was a lot of people that was talking tough about Ye. We have a direct pipeline to the consumer now. We no longer need all of these middlemen and intermediaries that's taking a slice of what it is that we're doing. We have a direct connection to the consumer now. We're no longer bound by these record companies and these corporate entities that's preventing us from being able to have a direct connection and pipeline to the audience that support us the most. Let's continue. He'll keep operating Yeezy Supply, the e-commerce shop that serves as the primary release point for new Yeezy goods hitting the market in an endless series of product drops. Adidas and Gap have a big bet on Yeezy, counting on Ye's label to boost their cachet among younger demographics, grab consumers' attention, and drive sales. Management shakeups are ongoing at both brands as they change CEOs. And see, that's the problem. It's because the person that you wind up signing a deal with is often at times the person that you're not going to be doing business with at the end of the deal. Even in corporate America, right? When I get into these partnerships, I call them partnerships because they're only limited time. When I get into these partnerships in corporate America, right? Often at times you see management changes based off of whatever is going on in the industry. The person that you were under or the person that brought you in is often moved on to a different company, which is why in the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat, I talk to you guys and I tell you, listen, my window of opportunity usually is about 3 to 4 years and stand at a company because it'll show stability. It'll allow for you to be able to get a lot of product launches and get things under your belt. And then it also shows a form of loyalty. But by the time that 3-year mark hit, you should start getting the itch because you know somebody is going to pay you to leave. Somebody is going to be willing to pay you to leave more likely than they are going to promote you. You're going to be able to use that experience to leapfrog into something different. Management shakeups are ongoing in both brands. As they change CEOs at Adidas, top executive Casper announced plans to step down next year. Gap boss Sonia was ousted in July. Gap has an interim chief in charge as they both search for replacements who will inherit their relationships with Ye, who's had problems with his corporate partners lately. He has repeatedly called out Adidas and Gap and has requested to be added to their boards without success. They don't want to add him to the board because they don't want him to have any power or say-so when it comes to determining what happens with the company. He says, if I argue with someone broker than me, the only outcome is that I get broker. I'm going to have to take that. That's a bar. He said, if I argue with somebody broker than me, the only outcome is that I get broker. I'm taking it. Let me write that down. Let me take a picture of that one. Yeah, if I argue with somebody broker than me, only outcome is that I get broker. I'm going to do a whole video on that one. I'm doing a whole video. This afternoon, I'm dropping a video, and the title going to be, if I argue with somebody broker than me, the only outcome is that I get broker. Anyways, long-standing disagreements. Adidas, one of Ye's longest tie-ups, manufactures and distributes Yeezy footwear. He's had a long-standing disagreements about how the line is managed, especially in times where he hasn't been consulted on planning and strategy. The latest rollover in Adidas slide design that looks similar to the Yeezy slide, he said it was blatant copying. Blatant copying. That's the one that I just showed y'all. No one should be held in the position where they can steal from them and then saying, we're just paying you to shut up. No, you're not paying me to shut up. You're paying me because I already got money now. Who certainly hasn't shut up in recent weeks. On Instagram posts, he said that that destroys innovation, it destroys creativity, and it destroys, that's what destroyed Tesla. That's what destroyed Nikola Tesla. He says Gap, meanwhile, has been rolling out clothes like hoodies, anoraks, and tees under the Yeezy Gap name and has billion-dollar ambitions for the line. He said he joined Gap in the first place because he wanted to sell his designs at a more affordable price, something they accomplished. He has complained of not being included in meetings and being shrugged off by management. Why would you make Ye disappointed? Why would you piss Ye off? Man, Ye should be able to come to every single management meeting that is ever being, like, listen, put Ye as optional on every single meeting. There has also been at odds with JP Morgan and Chase where he's moved his money earlier. I didn't even know this. This is new. On Instagram, he criticized executives Bill at JP Morgan's wealth management business, investment banking chair, and chief executive Jamie. He said he couldn't get the CEO on the phone or any deal flow. Representatives declined to comment. He says, I feel like there's a lot of controlling and handling to suppress my ability to affect the American economy and industry. Why would the CEO of Chase go and talk to Yeezy? I'm very concerned about that. What does he want to do at JP Morgan Chase? I don't understand that. They say the saga of Yeezy's. Now I'm interested. The saga of Ye's finances is complex, going back several years to when he said he was saddled with millions in debt and rapped about dying broke. He has vastly turned around his fortunes. An unaudited balance sheet of his finances reviewed by Bloomberg last year showed that he held $122 million in cash and stock, with billions more in other assets such as Yeezy. He had $122 million in cash and stock and billions more in assets such as Yeezy. I'm surprised that he even had any cash. That much cash? The Yeezy business made $191 million in royalties from Adidas in a deal alone in 2020, according to a private document prepared by UBS. $122 million in cash and stock, billions more in other assets such as Yeezy. So basically, his net worth is tied up in the brand of Yeezy itself. Interesting. Ye recently enlisted Michael Cohen, former President Donald Trump's former lawyer and fixer, to help him with his personal affairs. Cohen said he no longer works with Ye, but is glad the artist has moved his money to JP Morgan after previously keeping it at a small Wyoming bank. Why did he keep his money in a small Wyoming bank? Oh, it's got to be people around Ye that is more financially literate. Hey, Ye. Somebody at Ye's team hit me up. Anton from AntonDaniels.com can give you the game, big dog. That bank was not equipped to handle his businesses or him personally, Cohen said in a text message this month. He has been cutting his ties more broadly to Wyoming, where he spent much of the time moving to Cody, a small town with a population of 10,000 in 2019. He listed one of his ranches for sale late last year around when Ye and his ex-wife were divorcing. The ranch includes a lake, whatever, so on and so forth. But it's been taken off the market. So that's been taken off the market. And as for the brand deals, Ye wanted to negotiate with Adidas to get a 20% royalty on all shoes he's designed with the company in perpetuity and save it for his 4 children. How's he going to swing that? He said, if these companies want to play with me, I've been playing nice up to this point. Very interesting. So, anyways, the point that we were making here is that there's a difference and there's pros and cons to divesting yourself from these corporations and then going direct to consumer and doing business with the people that actually run with you and support you. I hope Ye is going to be wildly more successful than he's already been successful. I think that he is a phenomenal, absolutely awesome designer and creator. I think that he probably needs to do a little bit of work on the business side. Oh yeah, you're right, Brother Darkness. You're right. Ye doesn't talk to people broken. Fair enough. He actually has people working with him that's broken in him. Do you know that Ye is the one that brought Virgil into the forefront? I don't know. Listen, I want to know your thoughts. Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Very shortly, within the next couple hours, I'm going to be dropping the interview on the Patreon. And I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day and a phenomenal morning. I love you. I appreciate you. But I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be rich by ourselves. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I think you are dope. I think you're awesome. You guys are absolutely, positively my heartbeat. You are my heartbeat, guys. Listen, make sure you tap into the Patreon. If you need to get in touch with me, email me at Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com and we're going to get it popping. Remember, we got the Patreon exclusive meetup this weekend. Those details have already been posted in the Patreon. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.